Good morning, traders. This is Perry Wilkey with Startup Trading. It is Tuesday, May 19, 2020, 8:45 a.m. Eastern Time. So looking back at the previous session, for Monday's session, we're looking at the value areas and the trending ranges from Friday, and it was just, you know, all up, right? So this red dotted line is where we ended the overnight session coming into the bell. You can see we just consolidated, slightly above that. No real pullbacks and anything. And if we look at the trade sheet, we can see obviously the prior day was bullish. You've got the short and mid-term time frames now bullish, and the longer term neutral, right? But what you have is you see no bearish references on these shorter time frames now. So as we look at the news for the day, we can see that Jerome Powell is going to be on the mic testifying before Congress at 10 a.m. this morning. This can last as long as until about noon to 1 Eastern time. So he'll have prepared comments that are released at any time if they haven't already been released, and then the questions and answers will go on. So this can supply some volatility to the market while he's on the mic today. Just keep aware of that. And I'll try to throw in the room today when I know he's done speaking, so that'll make it a little less headline risk in the markets for you. And then tomorrow at 2 p.m., we're going to have the meeting minutes from the meeting of April 28th and 29th. And then we'll get into the rest of the week later. This morning before the bell, we've got Home Depot and Walmart that's going to hit the Dow more than any of the rest of the indices. Looking at the 10-day range analysis, we still have the median range for the last 10 days, overnight 50 points basically, first hour 25, session 67, and the bell-to-bell portion 43. So keep that in mind while you're trading today. So I tweeted out last night and sent it out for the members of the rooms, right, that these were the areas that I was going to focus on a little bit extra today besides what I normally would watch. So these ranges for the ES between 2938.75 and 2955, and for the NASDAQ 93.14 to 93.30 half is really what I was going to watch. And if you look at it, there's lots of trading that happened in those bands, right? So you get both of them above those bands or both of them below those bands. It should be a little bit more bullish above them, a little bit more bearish below them. There's some other trading that happens, of course, but that's where a lot of traders are positioned from yesterday's session. So as we look at the ES again for yesterday, you can see that as the bell opened up, right, we went over, and we come up. So most of this trading was in this little zone here. So if we look at the overnight action now, and we just look at, what's going on since then, a lot of the action has just been basically between value area low, right, and above the high for yesterday. And we're just sitting here screwing around still in that zone, right? We get a little bit above it, we come back down into it. We get a little bit below it, we come back into it. But notice how value area low, which is the marker I would traditionally focus on the most for above or below, is really the floor so far today. If we look at all the indexes, and here's those NASDAQ levels, right? This is just part of the trading for the NASDAQ. You can see it's running into value area high right now, some resistance, but until you start to take out both of these, start taking out the bottom of this level, or both of them start taking out the top of the level, there's really nothing to do, right? They're kind of like do not trade zones or low risk chop zones, right? If they're not both above or not both below. Looking at all the indexes now, inside value, inside value, inside value, and inside value. So that can lead to a little bit of a chop, and some of it's probably uncertainty waiting on Powell to speak, right? So now the NASDAQ's popping up a little bit above value, and as we look at sequencing from overnight, we can see from that high that we made at 29.76 quarter coming down, right? We're holding the 38.2 short. That 50 short is going to be right around the top of that box that I've identified. It's going to be at 29.53 half. Looking at the NASDAQ, similar thing, right? But it's really the 50 that's been holding it in the overnight. It hasn't crossed that yet. And it sloppily went back and forth against the 38.2. And it's, not really much time spent in the overnight session below that bottom of that box that I outlined. that we should focus on. Looking at the Russell, it looks more like the ES, right? So from that high at 1350.7, right, we've held the 38.2 short, held the 38.2 short, come back down, but we didn't get anywhere. So that 50 is going to be at 1333.20 for the session so far. So keep that in mind as we progress. Looking at the ES on a little bit longer term draws and where it lines up with support and resistance in the profile. So holding above 29.39, which is the bottom of that box, basically, is really going to be, key to get that chop up to 29.82. And notice in the overnight session, right, we peaked over this 29.65 high from the overnight session that's going back to April 30th. So we'll see, if that's a pop and a flop up there, or if we get something going. I think a lot will depend on what Powell's going to say, and I don't think Powell's really going to have anything to say that's damaging to the economy. Look for, we want to hand out checks to everybody, more comments like that. So looking at the NASDAQ, what I'm trying to say is Powell is not a hawk. He's more of a dove. So as we look at the NASDAQ in the overnight session, it come up and tagged these 9408, 9405, 9409 area of the chart, right? And it backed off. So where did it back off to? Just this consolidation range that we've been watching, right, for the end of yesterday. So really, this can chop down, potentially all the way to 92.50 if things get out of hand. But really, these overnight lows are probably pretty firm for most of these indexes. Looking at the Russell now, it's got close to that 1353.60. And in the overnight session, I do expect that to be a little bit of a bump and grind to get over through, but not anything it can't tackle, right? That's why it's dotted out and not dashed. But 1377.30 is where I'd expect to go to it. I don't think that's happening today, but maybe we could actually, if we get bullish, we could tag up to this 1353.60. If it's a little bit more bearish, I wouldn't still not expect it to go below 1304.50. Looking at the Dow. So we finally convincingly broke above this support resistance band that we've been watching for a very long time, right? This goes back all the way where I identified it to April 12th, right? That's 5 weeks ago, basically, 4 or 5 weeks ago. So as we come in now and look, you can see that we're stalling right below those 24,555 levels, right? We've peaked above it, slammed back under it, peaked above it, slammed back under it. So there's a fair chance now that, we're going to work our way back up above, and that resistance is going to end up becoming support. If not, I'm still going to watch this dashed area that we blew through yesterday as potential support below. That's 24,171. So looking at all the indices for the overnight session and really what I'm watching so far today, it's going to be just basically probably a little bit choppy while Powell's on the mic. Remember, that's going to be from 10 to noon to 1-ish Eastern time. So he's going to be on the mic for in between 2 and 3 hours. So keep that in mind that the indexes probably aren't going to want to make some real moves for the day until after he's off the mic. And we'll see if we get a little shake and bake and a little bit of choppiness, some opportunities for us while he's on the mic. I hope this helps. You have a great day. If you like this technical analysis, please give the video a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed and like this content, just subscribe to the channel and you'll see more from me and Jack Gleason. And if you want some more information about how to load what you're looking at right now, this 4-index grid, onto your toss chart if you use Thinkorswim. There's a link below in the description that you can do that. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.